Good afternoon. My name is Dan Scripps, Chair of the Michigan Public Service Commission. I call this meeting of the Commission to order on February 23rd, 2023 at 1:02 p.m. Madam Secretary, please call the roll.
Chair Scripps,
Present.
Commissioner Phillips,
Present.
Commissioner Paratic.
Present.
Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you, Madam Secretary. Before we begin today, I'd invite those present as well as those joining remotely to join us in a moment of silence to honor the 3 students killed last week in the shooting at Michigan State University. Ariel Anderson, a 19-year-old junior from Grosse Pointe, Brian Frazier, a 20-year-old sophomore also from Grosse Pointe, and Alexandria Werner, a 20-year-old junior from Clawson. We lift up their families and friends, as well as the 5 other students who were wounded in the shootings and remain hospitalized here in Lansing, and the countless others who bear less visible scars from the trauma of these events. Here at the Commission, wherever we come from and whoever we might cheer for, we are all of us, part of the MSU family, as alumni, parents, neighbors, and regular participants in sporting and cultural events. So let's take a moment to remember, to honor those lost, and hope for comfort and Spartan strength for those still recovering. Please join me in a moment of silence. Today's meeting is being held in person at the Commission's office at 7109 West Saginaw Highway in Lansing, Michigan. We are also hosting this meeting remotely using Microsoft Live Event. It is compatible with all browsers except Safari. Telephone relay service is available through the phone option. If you are participating via the live stream, you may also turn on the live captions by clicking on the closed caption or CC button in the lower right corner of the screen. As indicated in the notice for today's meeting, if we lose the remote connection, the Commission will not recess, but will continue to meet here in person. The meeting will be recorded and available for future reference on the Commission's website. In addition, the Commissioners can receive comment via mpsc_commissioners@michigan.gov. For reference, this email is also included in the Q&A feature on the live stream event on your computer and in the meeting notice. We will have an opportunity for the public to make comment as provided in the agenda. A few notes about this. First, comments should be limited to 1 per person and can be made in person or by calling in. If you would like to make verbal comments, you must do so in person or by calling into the meeting by phone. For individuals participating by phone and who want to make verbal comments, you may press *5 to be queued up for comment. And to minimize disruptions, attendees participating by phone will be muted until we reach the time for public comment. The first order of business is approval of the agenda for today's meeting.
I move to approve the minutes from the February 2nd, 2023 Commission meeting.
Actually, we're going to just go back just a little bit. I think we need to approve the agenda first.
Oh, I apologize.
No, not at all.
And thank you again, Chair, for your moment of silence this morning. I move for the approval of the agenda for today's Commission meeting.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the agenda. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The agenda is approved. And now we'll move on to the approval of the minutes from the February 2nd, 2023.
Well, I can assure you that I am ready. I move for the approval of the minutes from the February 2nd, 2023 Commission meeting.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the minutes from the February 2nd, 2023 Commission meeting. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The Commission meeting minutes of February 2nd, 2023, are approved. The next item of business on the agenda is the approval of orders and minute actions on the consent agenda. Today, the Commission is assisted by Staff Attorney Alyssa Day, and I recognize Ms. Day.
Good afternoon. Today's consent agenda consists of 6 communication matters and 3 electric matters. The proposed orders and minute actions for these matters have been thoroughly vetted by the Commission's technical and legal staff and are ready for your approval.
Thank you, Ms. Day. I move for the approval of the orders and minute actions on the consent agenda.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the orders and minute actions on the consent agenda. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The orders and minute actions on the consent agenda are approved. I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A1 is case number U16048, which involves an application filed by Biomass Merchant Plants seeking ex parte approval of modifications of procedures for the recovery of costs pursuant to MCL 466A sub 9, 10, and 11. The order before you approves the November 17th, 2022 application in part as set forth in the order, with the remainder of the application to be resolved via the contested case process.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-16048.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-16048 is approved. I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A2 is case number U-20639, which involves the application of Consumers Energy Company for ex parte approval of an extension of a temporary waiver of Rule 460.3604 of the Commission's technical standards for electric service and for alternative electric meter testing procedures. The order before you approves the request.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20639.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We'll now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20639 is approved. I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A3 is case number U-20879, which involves the application of Upper Peninsula Power Company to approve its energy waste reduction plan for the 24-month period ending December 31st, 2023. The order before you approves Upper Peninsula Power Company's energy waste reduction plan for 2022 through 2023, as amended in the reopened record.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20879.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20879 is approved. I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A4 is case number U-20898, which involves the establishment on the Commission's own motion of the New Technologies and Business Models Work Group. Staff member Joy Wang will describe this order.
Good afternoon, Commissioners. In the October 17, 2019 order, in case number U-20645, in partnership with Governor Whitmer, the Commission established the My Power Grid initiative. My Power Grid is a focused multi-year stakeholder initiative to maximize the benefits of the transition to clean, distributed energy resources, DERs, for Michigan residents and businesses. The New Technologies and Business Models Work Group was officially launched in the October 29, 2020 order in case number U-20898. The order noted there is the need to adapt the regulatory framework to allow for different applications of DER and to define the appropriate roles of utilities and other entities in supporting a more decentralized energy system that is clean, affordable, reliable, and accessible. Staff's filed report summarized the work group efforts to date and provided recommendations for the Commission's consideration. In its July 27, 2022 order for this case, the Commission solicited comments on staff's proposed expedited pilot review for innovative pilots. On August 26, 2022, the Commission received 6 comments. The order today summarizes the comments and approves an expedited pilot review process described in Exhibit A attached to the order. The approved voluntary expedited pilot review process is intended for pilots with broad stakeholder consultation. The Commission finds that the annual cost cap should be increased to $10 million for the 2 largest investor-owned utilities, with a sliding scale relative to that cap for the smaller investor-owned utilities. This results in an annual cost cap of $1.3 million for Indiana Michigan Power, $530,000 for Upper Peninsula Power Company, $370,000 for Upper Michigan Energy Resources Corporation, $180,000 for Alpena Power Company, and $90,000 for Northern States Power Company, Wisconsin. The following eligibility criteria must be met to be eligible for expedited review. The utility must manage meaningful stakeholder outreach and input for the expedited pilot process. There must be an ability for third parties to propose pilot ideas to the utility for consideration when developing expedited pilots. The proposed pilot must meet the Commission's adopted definition of pilot in the February 2, 2021 order in case number U-20645. The proposed pilot must fit within one or more of the utility's approved work plan areas. The proposed pilot must be developed with stakeholders, and evidence of stakeholder consultation must be included in the pilot application. The pilot application must provide data on all items of the objective criteria for utility pilots adopted by the Commission in the February 2nd, 2021 order in case number U-20645. Utilities must work with interested stakeholders and Commission staff in developing a pilot work plan detailing up to 5 areas to be explored in the near term. This work plan will serve to provide a roadmap for the areas expedited pilots will explore in the near term and help ensure proposed pilots are pertinent to current needs and focus. After the utility work plan is approved and a pilot application is submitted, the Commission will conduct an expedited 90-day review of the pilot application. The Commission retains the authority to approve, deny, or request clarifications or modifications to the pilot work plan and pilot proposals under the expedited process, and to suspend the 90-day timeline for cases where additional time is required for an appropriate analysis of the proposal. Commission approval must be received before the pilot may commence. Stakeholders will be allowed 15 days after the pilot application to comment for Commission consideration. Commission approval of the pilot application means that pilot costs shown to be reasonable and prudent in a rate case will be recovered. The Commission will approve or deny requests for regulatory asset treatment based on the evidence provided with the application. If a utility proposes changes to a pilot after approval, it must file a notice informing the Commission of the proposed changes. The Commission will conduct an expedited 30-day review of pilot changes. Participating utilities shall provide an annual written pilot report on all ongoing pilots approved through the expedited pilot process and any final report for completed projects. They must also hold an annual meeting with stakeholders and Commission staff to provide progress updates. The first update meeting shall be held about 6 months before the annual report is filed. The order attachment has further details. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Wong. I move for the approval of the order in case number U-20898.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? Is there any discussion?
I do have some comments to make, Chair. First, I would just like to thank you for your leadership, Dr. Wong, as well as thank all of the staff. I think when we were debriefing over this earlier this week, there were almost 40 members of our staff. That's nearly a quarter of the team at the Commission who were contributors or participants in either or both the MyPowerGrid Energy Programs and Technology Pilots Work Group or the New Technologies and Business Models Work Group. I thank you all for your due diligence, exemplified by the many hours of research, report writing and compilation, as well as the consultation of model PUC-derived pilot review processes from Hawaii, New York, among other commissions. I thank you for your persistence and willingness to continue to push us and thinking about innovation not only from the lens of the industries that we regulate or the technologies that we approve, but also thinking about innovation in terms of the regulatory processes we establish and administer. I also thank our thought partners within the stakeholder and utility communities for continuing to work with us and ironing out the details and complexities inherent in this process, and creating an expedited process for improving or approving utility pilots. Our goals were to provide a tangible means by which we could reduce the strain and the weight of increasingly voluminous rate cases. We also wanted to establish a process that would allow us to improve our responsiveness and reduce regulatory lag that could inhibit the implementation of innovative utility pilots and business models, especially those that could improve assistance to customers in need, help the state meet its decarbonization goals, and provide a foundation for technologies and programs that support the ongoing energy transition. These goals, however, had to be balanced with the continued need for a robust process for stakeholder engagement, review, and input of proposed pilots, as well as continued attention from the Commission to the reasonableness and prudence, as well as the overall customer impact of these proposed pilot programs. I firmly believe that the expedited process outlined for our consideration today has threaded that needle, and I think it is a perfect example of what can be achieved through the thoughtful collaboration of our staff and stakeholder and utility experts, as well as the expertise from other commissions across the country. I think this process puts us at the vanguard for the consideration of utility pilots, but we will continue to evaluate. We will continue to assess whether this expedited process meets the needs and goals of all parties involved. And we really do continue to encourage our staff, stakeholders, and partners at our regulated utilities to provide feedback to us in order to assess whether there are future improvements in this process that we can make in order to ensure that all these needs and goals are met. So again, I thank our staff and all parties involved, and I'm excited to get this process underway.
Well said, Commissioner Phillips. I certainly share that excitement. Is there any additional discussion?
That was very well said, Commissioner Phillips.
Thank you. We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-20898 is approved. I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A5 is case numbers U21099 et al., which include dockets opened on the Commission's own motion for the receipt of capacity demonstration filings required by MCL 460.6W and for other filings. The order before you grants in part and denies hearing and responds to requests for clarification as described in this order.
Thank you, Ms. Day. I move for the approval of the order in case numbers U-21099 et al.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion?
I did want to just briefly thank all the parties to this process of partially opening up demand response aggregation in Michigan, and all of the thoughtful comments and commenters and the input that we received as a part of this process. We've offered a few clarifications in the order before us today to clarify the process of aggregation and of eligibility. I'm hopeful that this process of large commercial and industrial demand response aggregation will provide more flexibility and increased resources to our electric grid and will help to modernize and take more full advantage of the resources that we have on our system while simultaneously providing appropriate safeguards.
Thank you, Commissioner Peretick. Is there any additional discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21099 et al. Is approved. I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A6 is case number U21215, which involves an ex parte request filed by DTE Electric Company and DTE Gas Company for authority to waive one attribute of their data privacy tariffs related to personally identifiable information for the single specific purpose of assisting the City of Detroit with the creation of an occupancy model to allow for the equitable distribution of services and access to resources in the City of Detroit. The order before you approves the waiver effective for the date of this order and continuing until 5 p.m. Eastern Time on December 31st, 2024.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21215.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21215 is approved. I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A7 is U2127. Involves a commission's own motion to initiate a comment period regarding the funding and assistance opportunities available to public utilities pursuant to the Federal Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act of 2021. Staff member Nathan Burnand will describe this order.
Good afternoon. In May of 2022, the Commission opened the U21227 docket in response to the passage of the Infrastructure Investment and Jobs Act, or IIJA. Among other things, the IIJA provides approximately $550 billion in federal funding for infrastructure improvements, including public utility infrastructure, such as generation, clean energy transmission, electric vehicle or EV infrastructure, grid reliability and resilience, energy efficiency, and cybersecurity. The U21227 docket requests biannual comments from all of Michigan's regulated utilities on their activities related to the pursuit of federal funding opportunities that the IIJA makes available. Today, the U21227 docket will be updated to bring additional clarity to this process and to account for significant changes that have taken place in the federal funding landscape. In the past year, many of Michigan's regulated utilities have submitted concept papers to the Department of Energy in pursuit of federal funding and have received encouragement from the Department of Energy to move forward with full applications. Additionally, the Commission and other state of Michigan departments have been working with stakeholders across the state to collaborate and to ensure that all voices are heard as the state assesses IIJA funding opportunities. The state is also moving forward with the implementation of grid resilience formula funding under Section 40101D of the IIJA. This funding will provide millions of dollars to the state for needed improvements to the electric distribution system. The passage of the Inflation Reduction Act, or IRA, will also bolster Michigan's ability to invest in the state's electric distribution, transmission, and generation resources. The IRA has made several funding opportunities available to Michigan, and there is likely more to come. Opportunities that could help improve the affordability and reliability of electric service to ratepayers include, but are not limited to, programs like the Home Energy Rebates Program, Transmission, Siting, and Economic Development Grants, as well as the Greenhouse Gas Reduction Fund. The IRA also makes important adjustments to the tax code that have the potential to make foundational changes to the affordability of renewable energy generation sources like wind and solar. In light of these developments, the Commission is issuing an update to the U21227 docket. The Commission is now seeking comments from regulated utilities on their activities related to the IRA as well as to the IIJA in the U21227 docket. Additionally, given the breadth of opportunities available, the Commission is requesting as much specificity as is possible in the U21227 reports, with special attention paid to the names of programs each regulated utility is applying for and what stage of development each application is in. Finally, the Commission is asking transmission utilities that have service territories in Michigan to file reports in the U21227 docket as well on a voluntary basis. It is the Commission's ambition that together, these actions will foster collaboration across state government, with the private sector, and with everyday Michiganders. In turn, the Commission seeks to maximize the potential of these federal funding opportunities and to make needed improvements to Michigan's grid. While the Commission cannot pre-approve any investment before it has been through the rate case process, the Commission does generally encourage all regulated utilities to pursue opportunities wherever federal funding has the potential to improve the lives of their customers. Taking full advantage of these transformational pieces of federal legislation will be crucial to ensuring that the state of Michigan continues to be a leader in providing affordable, reliable, and equitable power to its citizens. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Bernan, and thank you to Ms. Sarah Molkoff and to many other staff who are continuing to help us maximize those federal dollars and improve access to those funds to the state of Michigan as a whole. I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21227.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion?
Yeah, I would like to briefly thank all of the entities who submitted reports as part of this process, and want to especially recognize the effort that goes into submitting these applications for these federal funding opportunities, both from the side of the utility as well as from the staff side, with Mr. Bernan and Ms. Molkoff, as Commissioner Phillips noted. As Mr. Bernan noted in his presentation, this is a substantial opportunity for us to obtain outside funding to help with updating and modernizing our energy infrastructure in Michigan, while simultaneously reducing the cost burden for Michigan's customers. This funding has a potential to make a substantial positive impact for our state, and I'm looking forward to tracking the progress made by all the parties in this docket.
Thank you, Commissioner Peretick. Is there any further discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21227 is approved, and I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A8 is case number U-21257, which involves an application filed by Consumers Energy Company for approval of a power supply cost recovery plan and monthly factors for the 12-month period ending December 31st, 2023. The order before you grants Consumers Energy Company's motion for a temporary order and the requested relief.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21257.
I second the motion.
Before we vote on this, just a couple of words. It is no secret that Michigan customers are struggling with their energy bills this winter, driven largely by the run-up in underlying commodity costs for natural gas in particular. This has led to an under-recovery in previous power supply cost recovery years for consumers and a number of others, and ultimately rolling that balance over into this year. The good news is that there's been some moderation in those prices on the commodity side in the last couple of months, and the outlook for the going forward time period looks similarly better than it's been in the last year. And so the specific order that we are approving today comes to us from Consumers Energy Company, seeking the ability to recover only a portion of their 2022 under recovery in the 2023 planning year, and then rolling over the remaining balance, the other 2/3, to the company's 2024 and 2025 plan years. This will have the effect of reducing the PSCR factor tied to natural gas costs that they use to generate power by 2/3, and should reflect a significant decrease in overall customer bills on a going forward basis, and allow the company the certainty of full recovery over the sort of longer time period. So I appreciate the flexibility and creativity behind this proposal. I think as we look at all available options to ensure affordability of energy resources in Michigan, this is a significant step forward, and appreciate the opportunity to bring this order in front of us today. Is there any other discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21257 is approved. I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A9 is case number U-21306, which involves an ex parte application filed by DTE Electric Company requesting approval of its rider number 16 transition strategy. The order before you dismisses the application.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21306.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21306 is approved. I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A10 is case number U-21316, which is a matter involving Upper Peninsula Power Company's Energy Waste Reduction Program pursuant to Public Act 295 of 2008, as amended by Public Act 342 of 2016. The order before you assigns a docket number and filing deadlines for Upper Peninsula Power Company's Energy Waste Reduction Reconciliation Proceedings and annual reports.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21316.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21316 is approved. I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4A11 is case number U-21347, which involves an application filed by Consumers Energy Company requesting ex parte approval of revisions to the company's large customer renewable energy program tariff. The order before you approves the application.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21347.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21347 is approved. And for the last time today, I think, I recognize Ms. Day.
Item 4B1 is case number U21289, which involves an application filed by DeSager Energy LLC for a certificate of public convenience and necessity to construct, own, and operate the DSG RNG pipeline in New Haven Township, Gratiot County, Michigan. The order before you approves the amended application and makes the required agency findings regarding the pipeline's environmental impact.
I move for the approval of the order in case number U-21289.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? We will now have a vote on the motion to approve the order. All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by a unanimous vote. The order in case number U-21289 is approved. We have now reached the time reserved for members of the public to address the Commission. As mentioned in the notice for today's meeting, we will take public comments in the following order. First, individuals attending in person, then verbal comments from individuals who have called into the meeting and have submitted names either in the Q&A feature or who have pressed *5 to be queued up, and finally, from individuals participating only through the phone option. As a reminder, this public comment period is for commissioners to listen to comments and concerns, but not to answer specific questions. Please limit comments to one per person and keep them brief, no longer than 3 minutes. When providing comment, please indicate your name and where you live if you are willing to share, so we have that for our records. If anyone attending in person desires to address the Commission, please come to the podium and use the microphone. Not surprisingly, given the ice storm, we don't have a large in-person attendance today. So we'll now open up the phone line for those who would like to provide comment. Ms. Cole, I believe you're, again, assisting us with this part of the meeting. Do we have any individuals who are queued up using the Q&A feature?
None at this time, Chair Scripps.
Do we have anyone who is in the queue by pressing *5?
None that I can see there either today.
Okay. Is there anyone else participating by phone today who would like to make public comment? You can press *6 on your phone to unmute. Give it another minute just to see. If there's anybody who would like to provide public comment through the phone, you can press *6 on your phone to unmute. We'd love to hear from you. Okay. We will now close the public comment portion of today's meeting. A few announcements. As I think everybody is well aware, we're facing some challenging weather conditions outside and have been over the last day. It's been described as the worst ice storm since 1976, and it's resulted in a significant number of outages and at least one fatality, a volunteer firefighter in Paw Paw who passed away after coming into contact with a live electric line while trying to guard others from doing the same. So we want to remember him and his sacrifice and his family. We also, when I checked before coming down for the meeting, had just north of 800,000 customers across the state currently without power, including more than 10% of the customers of Consumers Energy and DTE, as well as Midwest Energy and Communications, and a significant number, though less than 10%, in the Indiana-Michigan Power Company service territory as well. Two thoughts here. First of all, this is obviously a significant storm, and with the wind picking up this afternoon, if it comes in before the ice thaws, it could result ultimately in significantly more. But primarily, I want to share a safety message today. It's tempting when the temperatures warm up to go outside and to begin clearing some of the branches and trees and other things that may have fallen. But I encourage those who are in areas with significant outages to please stay inside and stay safe. There are literally thousands of live electrical wires that are still down as a result of this storm, and more may be coming. And the best way to stay safe and ultimately to stay alive is to stay inside. So please, if you feel that you're in danger, please call your fire department or your police department. But I can't encourage folks strongly enough to please stay inside, wait for the restoration work to take place, and then and only then begin to clear debris from your yards and properties. There may be live lines intertwined within those, and we want to avoid that if at all possible. We are in fairly constant communication with the utilities. We've been briefed on their restoration efforts. We will obviously continue to pay close attention to this and monitor the situation closely, but again, encourage folks to stay inside, be safe. If you are life critical on oxygen or other things, please let us know at the commission, and we can work to make sure that that information gets passed along to the utilities. But we'll get through this. It is going to be a challenge over the next several days, to be sure, but we want to make sure that we get through it safely. I have one other announcement. As a reminder, the public hearing regarding the proposed 679 area code overlay for Detroit's 313 area code is scheduled for March 9, 2023 at 1:30 p.m. at the Wayne County Community College District's downtown campus in the Frank Hayden Community Room. That's room number 236. And further information on that public hearing and the underlying case may be found on the Commission's website. Are there other announcements from either of you?
It can't be said enough times, the stay inside, stay safe message. The warm weather can and will be deceiving. I saw there's a lot of fog as well as still ice on the roads there. So again, that message just can't be repeated enough in order to help ensure that we don't have any further tragedies as ongoing restoration takes place.
Yeah, and this has been said by the other two commissioners already and said very well, but I think it's important, not enough to be said a third time too, to please stay inside if you've been impacted by the ice storm that came through our state. There are still many electric wires that came down and that have not yet been secured or repaired, even though our crews are working very hard to make that progress. These are very dangerous. Don't try to clean up any tree branches yet, stay safe as all the electric line workers are out trying to repair the system that's been very heavily damaged.
Thank you, Commissioners. Please, that concludes today's meeting. Please note that the next Commission meeting, which had been scheduled for Tuesday, March 14th, 2023 at 1 p.m. has been changed. The new date is Friday, March 24th, 2023 at 1:00 p.m. and a revised regular Commission meeting schedule will be posted later today. Is there a motion to adjourn, Commissioner Phillips?
I motion to adjourn today's Commission meeting.
I second the motion.
Is there any discussion? All those in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries by unanimous vote. The meeting is adjourned. Thanks, everybody.